Hello students, welcome back to Legend YouTube channel. This is Kiran Kumar. We have discussed, I am going to take for you physics, and in the previous class we have discussed about light chapter and the important basics related to light and the properties of light such as rectilinear propagation and reflection of light, laws of reflection, and mirrors. And among the mirrors we have discussed about plane mirrors and spherical mirrors. And also we have discussed about types of spherical mirrors such as concave mirror and convex mirror, and terms related to spherical mirrors such as principal focus, principal axis, center of curvature, radius of curvature, focal length, principal focus, and some of the basic information about the how the image formation takes place, types of images such as real image, virtual image, and the differences among the real and virtual images. So next let us continue with that topic, how to draw the ray diagrams for concave and convex mirrors. And in this ray diagrams, in order to draw, first of all, how an image is formed by a concave mirror and convex mirror, first of all we should know. So how to form a image with this spherical mirrors, let us see now. So first of all, ray diagrams for spherical mirrors. Ray diagrams for spherical mirrors, let us see. So first of all, let us take a concave mirror. You know, concave mirror is it is polished from the outer side, bulging side of this surface is polished and coated, and here inner surface will behave like a reflecting surface. And as you know that here the midpoint is the pole, there is a center of curvature, and the midpoint of this is principal focus, which we have already discussed. Concave mirror, pole of the mirror, center of curvature, and principal focus, principal axis, which you know already. And let us see how the image formation takes place with this concave mirror. Let us imagine one of the light ray coming from an object, which is an incident ray, we denote with I. This incident ray is meeting at a point, let us suppose A, on the mirror. This is the mirror, you know, and this incident ray coming from the object falling at a point A on this concave mirror. And for this incident ray, we should draw the reflected ray. But how to draw the reflected ray now? So to draw the reflected ray, we have two important methods we have. Number one, first of all, we should draw the normal at this point. How to draw the normal? For example, if it is a plane surface, at a given point, we can draw the perpendicular directly. This makes 90 degrees. This is what we call normal. If it is a surface plane, but it is not a plane surface, but how to draw the normal for this curved surface at this point of incidence? Then only we can draw the reflected ray for the given mirror. So for that we have two methods. Number one, we need to draw the tangent. This is what we call tangent. What is mean by tangent? Tangent is nothing but, here if you take a curved surface, at this point, for this curved surface I want to draw the normal perpendicular line. So if we draw like this, is it become perpendicular? Is it perpendicular? Is it perpendicular? This is not the way to draw the perpendicular for the curved surface, but how to draw? And in order to draw a normal at this point for this curved surface, we need to draw the tangent first. What is tangent? Tangent is nothing but a straight line drawn in such a way that it meet at only one point. So this is the straight line I have drawn. That straight line meet at this point only. Such type of any line which is drawn such that it meet at only one and only one point is called as a tangent. And now with respect to this tangent, at this point we can draw the normal. So with respect to this tangent, we can draw the perpendicular line, and this line will behave like a normal at this point for this curved surface. Similarly, we can draw another normal. For example, I want to draw the normal at this point for this curved surface. So we have to draw the tangent like this. And now we should draw the normal like this. So with respect to this tangent, we have to draw the perpendicular. For this tangent, we should draw the normal perpendicular line. This itself will behave like what now? Normal at this point. So this is the way of drawing the normal for the given point of incidence on the mirror. So here is, this is incident ray, this is the point of incidence A. So at this point we have drawn the tangent. With respect to tangent, we have to draw the normal. So if we draw the normal, it look like this now. So this will behave like a normal. So this normal, with this normal, it is making some angle. This incident ray makes some angle with the normal drawn at this point of incidence. This is called as angle of incidence. And now with the same angle as that of this, for example, this is some 30 degrees. With the same angle 30 degrees, we should draw another light ray. Now this will behave like a reflector ray. So what we have drawn? We have taken an incident ray which is incident at point of incidence A on the mirror, and to draw the reflector ray for this given incident ray, first of all we should draw the normal. So for that we have drawn the tangent at this point of incidence A, and with respect to this tangent we have drawn this normal which is shown in the dotted lines. And now we have to measure the angle between incident ray and the normal drawn at this point of incidence A. For example, this is some 30 degrees if you consider, and with the same angle, by making with this normal, we should draw another light ray. So I have drawn the another light ray by keeping the protractor like this. We should measure from this side to this side 30 degrees. So this is also now 30 degrees. Now this is when you draw the another light ray making same 30 degrees with this normal, this behaves like a reflected ray, and the angle made by this reflected ray with this normal is called as angle of reflection, denoted by R. So now this is the reflector ray. This is the method of drawing the reflector ray for the given incident ray on this spherical mirrors. It may be concave mirror or convex mirror. First of all, we talk about concave mirror now. So this is one of the method to draw the reflector ray for the given incident ray. Here we have taken the light ray parallel to principal axis, and now here is, there is another method. So this is one of the time consuming method, because every time we need to draw the tangent, and we should draw the normal, and we should measure the angle of incidence, and with the same angle by making with the normal we should draw the reflector ray. So instead of this time consuming and very lengthy process, let us take a simplest method to draw the reflector rays for the given incident rays, so that we can form an image with this concave or convex mirror easily. And in order to form an image, minimum we need to take two light rays. coming from the object, that we will see later. So second method, let us see now. Second method is now in the same figure only, just observe carefully. Here I have drawn the normal with respect to tangent, I said to you. But without drawing the tangent also we can draw the normal. How to draw? And already normal we have drawn with respect to tangent. That normal only I am extending. What do you notice here? Here, the same normal I am showing with red dotted lines. Here, this is what? Normal. Same normal I am extending. If I extend, it is passing through what? Center of curvature. So this is what we have to observe, important point. Which means this is the point of incidence, this is the center of curvature. So any line joining the point of incidence on the mirror to its center of curvature, if you draw a line, that line itself will behave like a normal. So here AC is, this A to C shown in dotted lines is behaves like a normal. And this is we have drawn directly. Incident ray I have taken from this point of incidence by joining the center of curvature. We have drawn the line in dotted lines, that is becoming normal AC. So we can measure the angle of incidence, and with the same angle we can draw the reflector. And here we have not drawn any tangent here, that point you should remember here. So without drawing the tangent we can draw the normal and we can draw the reflected ray. But here one more problem is, every time we need to measure the angle of incidence, with the same angle we have to draw the reflected ray. So this is another problem. So that is why we have some rules, and these rules are what now? Useful to you in order to draw the ray diagrams for the concave mirror and the convex mirror. And what are those rules? Let us see. And then after we can comfortably draw the ray diagrams for concave mirror as well as convex mirror. But here one more important point is here, in front of a mirror, this is a concave mirror, pole of the mirror, it's a center of curvature C, and as you know that the midpoint of this PC, this is the midpoint, exactly midpoint, that means P to F and F to C, this distance is same. This distance, linear distance, is equal to this distance. Suppose if P to C is 10 centimeters, F to C is also 10 centimeters. So it is exactly the midpoint now. And now here is in front of the concave mirror, we can place the object at 6 different places. So we can place the object in front of the mirror at 6 different places. What are those 6 different places? Let us see one by one. Here is number 1. And generally the objects also, how the sources are of two types, point source and extended sources like tube light, bulb, as I told you. Similarly here the objects also we have two types. Number 1, point object, point sized, means which is equal to the tip of the pinhead. Such a object size is called point sized objects. And number 2, extended objects. So we can place any object in front of the mirror and its image we can form by drawing these ray diagrams. But to draw the ray diagrams we should know the rules. And one more thing, at how many different places we can place the object is another important point. So first let us see, at 6 different places we can place the object in front of it. But for easy sake of drawing the ray diagrams, we use a extended object. Means other than point size we consider as extended object, like tree, house, human being or candle or anything we can take up. Any object which is other than point size is considered as extended object. That extended object conventionally, easily to draw the ray diagram, we use one symbol, an upward arrow. What I am saying? Upward arrow. This upward arrow is the symbolic representation of an extended object. So if you want to draw the image of any tree in front of the mirror, we don't draw the tree. We used to keep what now? Extended object, that is upward arrow, as a extended object like a tree or anything. Okay, so we use upward arrow in front of the mirror, and how many places I told you? 6 different places. Number 1. So here object is at infinity. Object is at one of the places. When the object is at infinity, where is the image is formed, and what are the characteristics of image we should see. And characteristics or properties of image means what? Image is, what is the nature of the image, size of the image, and position of image. Position means here object is at infinity. Infinity means what now? Very far away from the mirror. And generally such far away from the object mirror, in order to show, we use what now? Parallel rays. The parallel rays to the principal axis, these parallel rays represents that this object is at very far away from the mirror, that is naturally we consider as infinity. So when the object is at infinity, generally we used to consider these parallel rays to show the object is at infinity. So when the object is at infinity, where is the image formed? Means position of image. Number 2, size of the image. Whether the size is same as that of the object size, or larger than the size of the object, or smaller than the size of the object. So for example, if the size of the object is 10 centimeters and image is formed like this. This is image size, let us suppose. So if you consider image size is very larger than what now? Object size. So in this case we consider as what now? Image is said to be magnified. We used to say magnified or enlarged or larger than the size of the object. We use any of these 3 words. The image is said to be magnified, which means the size of the image is larger than the size of the object, or enlarged image or magnified image. Any of these we can use. Suppose if the image size is what now? Like this. If you compare with the object size, its size is less. So in this case, the object is said to be, image is said to be diminished. Image is said to be diminished image. Object size and image size. Image size is smaller than the object size. Then the image is said to be diminished or smaller than the size of the object. This is another important point of image. And next, nature. Nature. What is the nature of image? Nature of image means whether the image we can catch it on the screen, that means real image, or we cannot catch it on the screen. Means we cannot catch it on the screen, means virtual image. Whether the image real or virtual. Real or virtual. That is another important property of the image. Next, here, what I said to you, the position, where is the image formed? Here or here or here. Where is the image which formed? Size of the image, nature of the image. Whether it is real or virtual. And number 4, whether the image is inverted image or erected. Erected means like this. Upright image, you know, yesterday I said to you. And here, downward. It is upside down. Upside down. So such an image is said to be inverted image. So whether the image is formed inverted. Inverted means like this. This is inverted. Whether object and downward arrow, which means image is inverted. And if the image is also like this, it is said to be erected. Upright image, upright and upside down. So here 4 important points of image we need to consider. Number 1, when the object is at some infinity first position, where is the position of image? Number 2, here we can write the point wise systematically here. So first one is position of image. Number 2, size of image. And number 3, Nature of image. Nature in the sense whether it is real or virtual, and whether it is inverted or erected. These are the 4 points we need to consider for the sake of what now? Image now. So, image of an object, whether formed at which place, position of image, size of the image, and nature of the image. These three are called characteristics of the image formed by concave mirror or convex mirror. So, but object we can place at how many places? I told you 6 different places. One of the position is what I told you, infinity. So, let us see the remaining positions also now. Number 2, the object is placed here now, which means object is placed beyond C. Beyond C means beyond center of curvature. Beyond center of curvature we can say, or it is placed. You know that from P to C is considered as radius of curvature. So we are placing the object, this object at a distance greater than radius of the curvature of the mirror. So this position we can say in two different ways. By using the points we can say, by using the points we can say, based on F, C, P, based on these points position we can express. Otherwise based on the distances, you know the distances means radius of curvature, focal length. Based on these distances also we can place the position of object. And number 1, infinity, you know. Number 2, beyond C, or we can also say the object is placed at a distance greater than radius of curvature. At a distance, the object is placed at a distance greater than radius of curvature. This is second position. Number 3, we can place the object exactly on C, on center of curvature. Exactly on C, on center of curvature. On center of curvature meaning it is from P mirror to C. If you measure, this distance is equals to radius. So instead of what now using the point, we can also use the distances to express this position of object, which is nothing but what now? In other words, we can say the object is placed on C or at a distance equal to radius of curvature. Radius of curvature we denote with R, you know. I am using the symbolic representation shortly, R. So on C we can tell, otherwise the object is placed at a distance equal to radius of curvature. Next, number 4, the object is placed anywhere between F and C, between F and C. So the object is placed between F, capital F, and C. So its principal focus and the center of curvature. Anywhere if you place the object, where is the position of a image form and its size what and its nature what. We have to discuss all those points. And now this we can also say in the terms of distances, the object is placed between these two, which means P to F we know that focal length, but P to C is considered as radius. But here it is in between F and C, which shows that the object is placed at a distance greater than its focal length but less than its radius of curvature. Greater than focal length but less than radius of curvature. This is another method of what now expressing the position of object. And next, number 5, the object is placed on principal focus. So on F, on capital F, which means on principal focus means, you know, in terms of distance we can say P to F is called focal length. So we can also say this position as the object is placed at a distance equal to its focal length, equal to its focal length. That is fifth position. And but last position, sixth position is the object is placed between P and F, anywhere between P and F. So between P and F. Between P and F means the object is placed, we can also say that less than its focal length. The object is placed at a distance less than its focal length. So number one, what I told you, infinity. This parallel rays always represents what now? The object position is at infinity, number one. And number two is beyond the center of curvature or at a distance greater than its radius of curvature. And next, number three, here is beyond the center of curvature. And number four, here between F and C. Next, on F and between P and F. Like this, these are the different positions where we can place the object in front of mirror, concave or convex mirror. So now let us discuss about each of the position now in detail with ray diagram, with the diagram and its characteristics. How do you get it? And that position in our day-to-day life where we use also, let us see in detail now. Okay. And now, but to draw the ray diagrams, we have to follow rules. So that is, as I told you, every time in order to measure the angle of incidence and with the same angle reflected ray, we have chosen certain rays of light in front of the mirror. They always behave in a similar manner. Such rays of light we have taken as the rules for drawing the ray diagrams for the concave and convex mirror. And if you remember those mirror rules, then easily, comfortably we can draw ray diagrams, and also we can show the characteristics of the image formed by the concave mirror and as well as convex mirror. So here we can place the object. I am just in a glance I am repeating what we have seen so far, and how to form an image by using a spherical mirror. And number two, in front of a mirror, at how many different places we can place the object, and for every position of object in front of this mirror, concave mirror as well as convex mirror, we need to discuss about formation of image and characteristics of the image. So let us see one by one position in detail with ray diagram.